Right now, your balcony is either doing nothing for you or it's doing the absolute least. Maybe it's a chair and a view. Maybe it's where the recycling lives until bin day. Maybe it's technically outdoor space that you've never once described as nice. Here's the thing. That's not a size problem. That's a plant problem. You don't need a garden. You don't need square footage. You need about 6 pots, the right plants, and 20 minutes. And by the end of summer, that slab of concrete becomes the place you actually want your coffee, your evening drink, and possibly your entire personality for the next 3 months. Today, we're going through the best plants for exactly this: small space, big heat, maximum payoff. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which plants thrive in containers through summer heat, why each one earns its spot on a small balcony specifically, and how to combine them so your space doesn't just have plants in it, it actually works as a space. Let's get into it. Number 1. The petunias plant that does the heavy lifting. If your balcony needs one plant to look instantly done, it's this one. Petunias are the visual shortcut. They're doing in one pot what most plants need 3 pots and a lot of patience to achieve. Railing planters, hanging baskets, or any container where you want spillover drama. They're built for trailing, which means they don't just sit in their pot, they colonize the space around it. Petunias bloom continuously through summer heat, ask for full sun, and reward deadheading, pinching off spent flowers with an almost embarrassing amount of new growth. Think of them as the plant equivalent of someone who thrives under a deadline. Give them a job and they overdeliver. One thing most people get wrong: petunias in containers are thirsty. Container soil heats up and dries out fast in summer sun, sometimes daily. Check the soil with a finger before assuming. If it's dry an inch down, water until it runs out the bottom. Number 2. Rosemary, the plant that works even when you're not looking. A balcony with flowers looks nice. A balcony with flowers and something you can actually use is a balcony that's earning its space. A single pot near your seating area does double duty. It looks like a deliberate, structured garden element, and it's dinner ingredients whenever you want them. Rosemary genuinely loves the conditions most balcony plants struggle with: full blasting sun, reflected heat off walls and railings, and soil that dries out between waterings. Where petunias need you to keep up with them, rosemary needs you to mostly leave it alone. It's the low-maintenance counterweight to everything else on this list. There's also a side effect nobody mentions enough. Brushing past rosemary releases its scent into the air. On a small balcony where you're sitting close to everything by definition, that's not a minor detail. It's ambient aromatherapy that costs you nothing and requires 0 effort. Number 3. Geraniums, the plant that survives your vacation. Every balcony setup needs at least one plant that can survive a mist watering, a heat wave, or a week where you simply forgot it existed. That plant is the geranium. Terracotta pots along a railing or in corners, geraniums have that classic, slightly old-world look that instantly makes a space feel established rather than newly thrown together. Geraniums are drought-tolerant once established, bloom reliably in full sun, and, critically, they don't sulk if you're inconsistent. Most flowering plants treat inconsistent care like a personal betrayal. Geraniums treat it like a Tuesday. They also come in colors that hold up under harsh summer light without looking washed out. Reds, hot pinks, oranges, the kind of colors that look slightly aggressive in a shady garden bed, but absolutely correct in full midday sun. 3 plants in, and your balcony is already going from empty concrete to actual outdoor room. This is exactly the kind of practical, no-fluff plant content this channel publishes every week. If you're not subscribed yet, hit that button, turn on notifications, and come back, because the next 3 plants are the ones that turn this from looks nice into I genuinely don't want to go back inside. Number 4. Trailing sweet potato vine, the plant that fills gaps without asking. Every balcony has gaps: empty pot edges, awkward corners, that one spot that looks unfinished no matter what you put there. This plant exists to solve that problem. Combine it in a larger pot with an upright plant. It fills the spiller role in classic container design, where you've got a tall plant in the center, mid-height plants around it, and something trailing over the edge to soften the whole arrangement. Sweet potato vine grows fast, almost aggressively in summer heat, and its foliage comes in colors, chartreuse, deep purple-black, that do a lot of visual work without needing a single flower. It's essentially a plant that's figured out how to look intentional while requiring almost no decision-making from you. If your balcony has any spot where you've thought, something needs to go there, I just don't know what, this is what goes there. Number 5. Lavender, the plant that multitasks. Lavender does 3 jobs at once: visual, scent, and function, which on a small balcony where every pot has to justify its footprint makes it one of the most efficient plants you can grow. A statement pot near your seating area or several smaller pots lining a railing for a uniform, slightly Mediterranean look that reads as intentional even in a tiny space. Lavender thrives in the exact conditions a sun-blasted balcony provides: dry soil, full sun, good airflow. The scent is genuinely calming. It attracts pollinators, which is a small but real ecological positive, even on the 3rd floor, and dried lavender stems can be cut and used indoors for months afterward. It's a plant that keeps paying you back well after summer's peak has passed. Number 6. Cherry tomatoes, the plant that makes the whole balcony feel productive. This is the plant that changes how the entire balcony feels, not just looks. A balcony with flowers is decorative. A balcony that's also growing food feels like it's doing something. A large pot, at least 14 inches, in the sunniest spot you have, ideally with something to support the stems as they grow. Compact or patio varieties are bred specifically for container life and won't sprawl into everything else. Cherry tomatoes are about as instant gratification as growing food gets. They fruit through the entire summer. They're genuinely easier in containers than in the ground in many cases, because you control the soil and drainage completely, and there's a specific, slightly smug satisfaction in handing someone a tomato you grew on a balcony the size of a parking space. They need consistent water and at least 6 hours of direct sun, but in exchange, they turn, "I have some plants out there," into, "I'm basically running a small farm," which is a significant upgrade in how you describe your living situation to people. 6 plants, that's the whole list. Petunias for instant visual payoff, rosemary for low-maintenance structure and scent, geraniums for the plant that forgives you, sweet potato vine for filling every awkward gap, lavender for doing 3 jobs in one pot, and cherry tomatoes for turning the whole space into something that feels genuinely productive. None of these need a garden. None of them need more than a pot, some sun, and a watering routine you can actually keep up with. Your balcony isn't small. It's just been empty. If this gave you a real plan for your balcony this summer, like this video. It helps more people find practical plant content instead of generic "buy these 10 things" lists. Comment below and tell us how big your balcony is and which plant from this list you're starting with. We genuinely want to know what people are working with. And subscribe if you haven't already. New plant guides every week. Real advice, real results, zero fluff. We'll see you in the next one.